Today we're going to look at a piece of advice that's 2,500 years old, but feels like it could have been written this morning. It's a guide to living a better life, but it's all wrapped up in a really powerful story about a father and his son.
So, at its core, this isn't just some dusty old text. It's a really personal story. The father happens to be the Buddha, and the son is his only child, Rahula. And the lesson he gives him, well, it's a framework so simple, yet so profound, it can literally guide every single choice we make. So let's start where the Buddha did, with a pretty ordinary object.
Okay, so picture this. The Buddha goes to visit his son. After he washes his feet, he holds up the water pot he just used and turns this simple thing into an unforgettable lesson about what happens when we're dishonest.
The lesson starts with this really strong image. The Buddha points to the tiny amount of water left in the pot and says, essentially, see this? This is what's left of your integrity when you tell a deliberate lie. It's not just a small mistake. A single lie basically empties you of your core values, leaving almost nothing behind.
And then he takes that last bit of water and just tosses it out. Now pay attention to the shift here. It's not just that your integrity is reduced, it's that you are the one who actively throws it away. A deliberate lie is a conscious choice, an act of discarding your own ethical foundation.
Next, he flips the pot completely upside down. And this shows a total inversion of your moral compass. You know, when you get comfortable with lying, everything gets mixed up. Right and wrong, up and down, your whole value system gets flipped, and it can't hold anything worthwhile anymore.
And finally, he shows the pot to Rahula. It's completely empty, vacant, hollow. And that, he says, is the end result. It's where a life of dishonesty eventually leads you to a state that is fundamentally empty, with no real substance inside.
You'd think that would be enough, right? But the Buddha follows it up with a second analogy, one that's even more stark. He wants to illustrate the ultimate danger of losing your sense of shame about lying. He's talking about a point of no return. He brings up this incredible image of a royal battle elephant. In a fight, an elephant will use its whole body, its tusks, its feet, but it will always, instinctively, protect its trunk. That's its last resort. But, he says, when an elephant gets to a point where it stops protecting its trunk and starts using it as a weapon, well, it has totally given its life over to the battle. It has nothing left to lose. It will do anything.
And there it is. That's the core of it. Our sense of shame, that little hesitation we feel before telling a lie, that's our trunk. The moment we lose it, the moment we stop caring about being dishonest, we become just like that elephant. According to the Buddha, once you cross that line, there is literally no bad deed you aren't capable of. It's a terrifying point of no return.
Okay, so after laying out these really dire consequences, the Buddha doesn't just leave his son there with a warning. That's not the point. He gives him a practical tool, a method to make sure you never even get close to that dangerous place. He pivots from the problem to the solution.
And he does it by asking a really simple question. One I'll ask you too. What's the purpose of a mirror? The answer seems obvious, right? But he uses it to introduce one of the most powerful ideas for self-awareness I've ever come across.
A mirror, of course, is for checking our reflection. We do it every single day, probably without even thinking about it. So the Buddha says we need to treat our actions with that exact same level of care. Our deeds, our words, even our thoughts, they should all be checked repeatedly in this kind of metaphorical mirror.
So how does this mirror of action actually work? How do you use it? Well, he lays out a really simple but totally comprehensive framework for how to do this repeated checking. The whole process is just a simple three-step check. It's brilliant. First, before you do something, you think about what might happen. Second, while you're doing it, you stay aware of the effects. And third, after it's done, you look back and review the outcome. It's a full cycle: intention, awareness, and reflection.
And this framework, it applies to everything. What we do with our bodies, what we say with our speech, and even what we think in our minds. For every single one, we ask the same core question. Is this going to hurt me, hurt someone else, or hurt both of us? And look at the outcome. If it is harmful, the goal isn't to beat yourself up. Not at all. It's to acknowledge it, confess it to yourself, and just decide to do better next time. It's about course correction. But if the action is skillful and doesn't cause harm, the instruction is amazing. Continue on with joy. And that right there is the key.
You might think all this self-reflection sounds exhausting, right? All this checking, but its purpose is the exact opposite. It's designed to cultivate a life of real, genuine happiness.
This is the ultimate reward. The result of all this gentle, constant self-reflection isn't a feeling of being restricted. It's a life filled with, in the Buddha's own words, rapture and joy. It's that deep, profound satisfaction you get from knowing that you are actively and consciously training yourself day and night to be a better, more skillful person.
And so this 2,500-year-old lesson lands right here with us today as a simple and powerful challenge. It's an invitation to hold up a mirror, not just to our faces, but to our actions, our words, and our thoughts. And it asks each of us a pretty fundamental question. If you were to look into that mirror right now, what would your reflection show? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it?